Okay.
Hello and welcome to Glitch Point. All right, so this has been, I guess, an interesting week. There's been a couple of things that have occurred. I think the big story that we're going to talk about is Amazon joining the ranks of game streaming services, which we'll have opinions about. But other than that, I mean, like, I don't know what else has happened this week. There's
we
go ahead.
Xbox pre-orders go up. That was a disaster.
Well, you mean the second round?
Did Series X have a second round?
No, but PlayStation had a second round.
They did, yeah. And that one wasn't as bad as the Series X, which
you're cutting in and out on my end.
Oh.
Yeah, I get some of your voice, and then it like boop. Well, it doesn't even make a sound, but it should.
Is it cutting? Oh yeah, that's not looking good.
We might have some technical difficulties.
Lovely.
That's okay. Always fixable. We can always rally.
Yeah. Well, I don't know.
I mean, I'm working on a pocket keyboard.
Yeah, one sec.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. I don't think I'll be cutting out. Am I still cutting out?
Sounds better.
Okay.
Oh, now you're using your the microphone from the computer.
Are you sure?
Yeah, that's pretty rough. That's picking up all sorts of background noise.
We might have to go down for a sec.
Well, I can hang out with the crew and talk about bullshit.
I have to
oh yeah.
And I'm the stream. Is my problem.
Oh yeah. Sounds better now.
I'm not.
It was
using...
Yeah, I think it just probably reinitiated.
Right now. Okay.
Well, Amazon, and then just the fiascos that the second round of PlayStation 5.
Alright, well, we're gonna keep going then. So, what were we talking about? Oh, yeah, so it was weird. Everybody complained about the PS5 and not telling anybody when it was gonna go live, and it was just a shit show. But the opposite of that was the Xbox, which is they told everybody.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, like, I honestly feel like this is a ploy. I mean, that's just the thing I get. I really don't think there's not going to be enough consoles on launch. And so this whole, like, we're going to parse them out like small amounts at a time just gets people hungry. It makes the feel of there not being enough consoles and that you're lucky if you get one. But are you really? Are you really lucky if you get one? If you're only going to have it for, I don't know, not that long before everyone else has one anyways. And
no. Yeah, I do hope they can match the demand this year with everything that's going on. Because it seems like this is like the most demand for a console. Well, maybe not the most, but
I feel like this is just a statistics problem, right?
Like demand compared to the last
and there's really smart people.
I mean, a lot of people got them, but it didn't feel
as the growth of the gaming industry, as well as how many game players are out there, especially with other online communities. They can kind of see how those have grown and do parallels. And then, I mean, you can kind of gauge what it's going to be and what it's going to be like. The one thing I don't think that they thought through were the bots. I don't think, and I think they wanted it to sell out quick, but they definitely didn't want bots to buy them and then price them on eBay like within moments. That's something I don't think they wanted. I don't know how they're going to get around that.
Yeah, I don't think either. Yeah. Well, see, I saw, I don't know who this random person on Twitter was, but I agree with this wholly, which is I feel like they should give a way to pre-order it on their last gen console so that you can boot up your Xbox One or your PS4 and pre-order it from there as an existing customer, as like the first round of pre-orders kind of go through that. I feel like that'd be a good way, because you can't write a bot that works on the console. Like, that's way too closed of a system. And it allows for a little bit of a loyalty thing of like, well, I've been with PlayStation
they probably
the past
had
so let me go buy the new one.
If you narrow
which
down
Xbox
the
does allow you to buy the console through their console
potential buyers,
but it's
you're not
like
going to get that
was out of stock,
feverish, oh, there's not enough console feeling across new buyers, right? And like that's really what they're doing. I mean, none of this really matters. It really just matters for it's setting a precedent to people thinking that there's not going to be enough. You know, and that gets people worried, and then they feel like they need. Yeah. I mean, I've had friends that don't play games at all asking me if they should try to get one, and I'm like, no, dude, just wait. You know, it's like most of these consoles aren't going to have that many games right off the bat, anyways. If I was going to choose, it would be the PS5 just because I think it has better titles on launch. So what are we even doing?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I guess they're trying to match the Switch, because the Switch had the same type of hype. It was like really hard to get on pre-order, and but the Switch is different because they were doing like soft launch. Like they launched it in March, so they didn't go for the holiday, and it was definitely like there's only one game at launch, which is Breath of the Wild, unless you loved 1-2 Switch, which I don't think anyone really loved it. So, like, it was really just for those hardcore fans who were like, of course I'm going to buy your new Nintendo console. And then once that was, like, the frenzy was over, they did huge stock for the holiday season. But I don't think Sony and Nintendo, or Sony and Microsoft can afford to do
They have to play the game a little bit differently. And they've consistently done that throughout their entire career, I would say, except for probably NES. I don't know what the cost of the NES was, or the SNES at launch. But anyways, I don't know. I'm just... I don't really want to deal with this kind of person. I'm just gonna wait. I might even wait if it gets bad and there aren't enough consoles. I'm cool waiting until after Christmas. I mean, I'm in my 30s. I don't need to fucking deal with Christmas. There is no Santa Claus. I'm good with it.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't get an Xbox. I missed the window. I did get the 5, but I imagine that normally, like, the best place to get them on launch day, which hopefully no one is like gonna watch this episode and then it'll just like completely undo my thought process here, but is usually you go to like a Fred Meyer or something like that with like a small town one, because they always get stock, but you can't pre-order through that retailer, so it's literally like no one knows that there's consoles there, but they just have. Usually you can get one at launch day. So that's gonna be my plan. If it doesn't happen, I'm not like freaking out over it, because especially with the Xbox, there's just not that really big launch title. I mean, I do want to play Cyberpunk on it. I want to play Destiny on it, but I do have a One X.
I mean, Destiny's already going to the xCloud anyways. I mean, it's already there. The second one, I don't know how up to date it is, but I think it is with all the current packs, right?
Yeah, if it's on, Destiny is every expansion's on Game Pass. You just have to buy season passes, which you don't even have to buy.
Which is so that's crazy. Like, and so what are we? There's another what are we even talking about? Because now you have this option that basically gives you a great gaming console, and you don't have to do anything for it. You can play it on your phone if you want.
I mean, see, that's the cool sell. Like with Halo Infinite getting delayed, Xbox doesn't have that killer app exclusive to their launch title, but with Xbox, I mean, because of how great they're doing with Game Pass and backwards compatibility, you have so many more games to play on the Series X that are going to be updated, ready on day one, than the PlayStation 5.
Well, I just started playing Outer Worlds. I haven't gotten very far. I just started my character. I did the hardest setting, though.
Oh, good luck with that.
You know what? It's actually, I like it because there's a lot of interesting points that it creates that I think that I'm really enjoying the hardest difficulties recently, like in the last 2 or 3 years, because instead of just making them like the NP or the enemies take longer to kill, or I can't speak, or give more damage. It's like they're actually making intelligible switches in the game and how the game plays, like the way you save, and like I think that, I don't know, I haven't played the game, but it says like you have to eat, you have to sleep, you can only sleep on your ship, so you can't sleep anywhere else. So I don't know, I just find it interesting. I'm like, okay, I'll do this. This sounds cool.
It's definitely like a different game almost.
Yeah.
Which is really fun. I was not in for the hardcoreness when I was playing that one. But
yeah.
I mean, Obsidian has always had really great. I believe they were the ones who introduced survival mode to the Fallout franchise, which is it's all those types of things where you have to sleep, you have to eat, your ammo weighs amounts. So you have to like balance that out. So, and everyone loved that about Fallout New Vegas. So,
I mean, that's so cool because it's like a lot of the things we used to that kind of came and went, and they were cool. I mean, it does make it more simulation based, and I kind of like that. You know, I kind of like the aspect of it.
Yeah, I like the option for sure. Like, I'm glad that there's one or the other.
Yeah.
So yeah, Amazon announced a cloud gaming service, and they already, I mean, it's in early access, so I can't speak for how it plays, but they're on the iPhone, and they're the only ones on the iPhone, because, and I didn't know how they did it at first, but they are actually
web app.
It's a web app.
Yeah,
and that's like, it was a very smart way to get around it, honestly. I don't know how great that's going to be compared to like a dedicated app, but we'll see.
I don't see what the difference is.
Yeah, I think they can handle it.
It's still the amount of data. I don't see where the web, using a web API, or I don't know what interfaces you would have to use, but it's the same thing, like, right?
I don't know enough about it, so yeah, I would imagine it can't be too different.
If you watch YouTube through the website or you go through the app, I mean, what difference is there? I mean, with the data being streamed, because that's literally the only thing that matters is the representation of the data that's getting streamed to you.
Yeah, that's fair.
I mean, maybe there's some sort of framework that you have to work it. I mean, it's more of a developer's problem than anything, because you have to work within the web framework.
I don't think like the UI will be as nice as like a dedicated closed app, and I think that's why Xbox hasn't either thought about doing the web app or they didn't want to go, is they're really about the UX on this whole debacle with getting it on iPhone. So but I don't know how much you looked into it, like how it's working. I mean, it seems pretty straightforward, but they're taking, I mean, Amazon owns Twitch, it has Twitch integration, but the way they talk about it, it's like you just took Twitch and made it into a streaming service, because like developers have channels that you can subscribe to. And I think that you could like just click a button when you're watching it on a stream and just say, I want to play this game, and then you can go play it, which is cool.
I mean, they definitely need to do something different. Because this is like the same thing that happened to the Amazon Fire. It's like it's a little late, right? There's no developers that are developing for your phone, and they already got crushed with that. And then same with Microsoft, but they're entering into a field in which other companies have been around for so long that have already have exclusive contracts with all these businesses, and they don't have any of that,
Yeah, and I'm wondering how you get your game on Luna. Like, I'm wondering if it's like Stadia, where like they have their own API, you have to actually have like a build that goes into Stadia, and now Luna. And I think that because it's through a web app and stuff, it sounds like that's what they're doing, especially because they have their own proprietary controller, although you can use other controllers. But in terms of how, like, for the developer, I think that I wonder if Microsoft's going to be the only ones who make it super easy for developers, because it doesn't seem like you need an extra build on Project xCloud. You literally you don't do any work, really.
Yeah.
It just works with their service and the way they upload it, which I think for developers, that's like probably why so many are joining onto that and the Xbox system.
Yeah, because if they can just port it, I'm sure it runs in some sort of wrapper or container, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's kind of a little annoying that everyone needs to jump into this pool. It's fine. I'm glad that there's going to be a lot of choices, and it's all going to be able to come to your phone and in these devices that we have, but this just feels like when there were marketplaces, and then there were 10 marketplaces, and you're like, what the hell? Like, do we need all these? And then the shitty ones all die off, and then a couple of them stick around, and Microsoft's going to be the one that sticks around.
Yes, that's like it. I mean, especially when it comes to Amazon's track record, they've been doing this since I don't even remember. Like, everyone's doing a thing, they do it, and then they never support it as good as anybody else. They don't do it as good as anybody else, and then no one gives a shit. Like, Prime Video is great, but like the UI, like just everything about it is not as great as any other service, and the library is not as great as everyone other service. They have video, they have Amazon Music, they have their new like lossless music thing we talked about that one time.
Yeah.
Now they have Luna. It's just like, and then like you mentioned, the Fire Stick. It's like, is it as good as an Apple TV or a Chromecast? I don't think so.
Well, I said the Fire. What was the phone? It was the Fire.
Oh, the Fire phone. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That's so quick.
That's what I was talking about, was their phone.
Oh,
it came out. It was right around the same time Microsoft did their phone, and
yep.
Yeah, it was just a disaster. Well, because they had the thing was they had no applications. No one was building anything for them because it was their own OS, and so that's what made it suck. Because great.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, Amazon has game studios as well, which I mean, I don't think that they've pumped out too many stellar titles from the Amazon game division yet.
Or Lumberyard, how's that doing?
Yeah, exactly. So I just feel like Amazon is kind of a place where services grow and die.
Yeah.
And I
think
you're right.
Game engine.
By the way.
Yeah.
I do. I think Microsoft's the only one who's going to last through this all, but I just don't see them being the only ones in the game. There's got to be some sort of competitor at some point.
Well, I think the only person that can stand up would be Valve, and they don't have the server space to do this, but they definitely have. There are so many people that have so many games on their platform that you're almost stuck with them. You know?
Yeah, but I mean, I think that as Valve as a company, they just have no interest in it. I mean, the way they talked about after they shipped Half-Life and they finally like broke their silence, the way that they're talking about their company is they just don't care at all. It seems, I mean, Gabe wants to do things with human interfacing with video games and technology, and then another part of Valve wants to go back to games. So like, I see your point of they have the Steam platform, so Steam would be like the best competitor, but I just feel like they have absolutely zero effort and they don't care.
Yeah, but I mean
they technically have in-home streaming. They have half of what Xbox has right now.
Yeah, that's nothing compared to what's going on. You know, it's like it's okay, yeah, I suppose, but you have to do a lot of hoops to set it up, and it's not as easy as. Although I haven't really tried it. There is a phone app. I haven't tried that.
But I just don't think that Valve will ever be able to. Like, they're big, but they're not Amazon or Microsoft or Google big.
Even if I could just play all my games and stream them on their servers, that would be happy. That'd make me happy.
But I mean, I don't think Valve has a lot of servers. I mean, they have just the servers for the Steam store.
And they host games, so they have to have enough for that as well. I mean, how many games?
I guess, I mean, they just introduced dedicated servers to TF2 like only a couple years ago. And really? I think CSGO has. Yeah, it's always been like some.
What about Hero of the Storms? That's pretty fucking big.
That's Blizzard.
Oh, what's Valve's one? Dota is. Which one are they?
There's Dota. There's that. Yeah, Dota's their MOBA, and then TF2 is their first-person shooter.
Yeah, so Dota's pretty big. So I'm sure that doesn't have dedicated servers.
That's a good question.
You're right. Hero of the Storms is Blizzard.
Yeah, which I don't think that game is big. No one really plays that.
Oh.
So, it is now possible to get. Apparently, when was this? So in 2015, they allowed how to create a dedicated server. Okay, so I really don't think that Valve is in the server game in any way.
But you can always crawl to Microsoft and ask them for space, because I mean that's literally what everyone else is doing.
Yeah, I guess Microsoft will have their hand in whatever, unless Amazon really tries hard with this one. Which, because of AWS, I think that they're the only other people. Oh, well, again, Google has the internet like wrapped around its finger. I feel that they could have done it too, but I think it's the developers. Having that whole make your Stadia build just adds another platform that nobody wants to do.
Well, I also think it's like whatever relations they have with the ISPs, you know, because you have to put something dedicated in, otherwise it's going to suck in other places of the country.
Yeah.
you have to have some sort of dedicated box that streams these games or like allows streaming, just like Netflix has, that across the board. That's why they and Amazon. So I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, there's probably a lot of business aspects to this that we don't know about, but I don't know. I just think it's a little silly. I'm not even excited about it. I'm going to continue to go on and play Microsoft games, Xbox games, and be happy. I don't really need Amazon to be in this field.
No, I agree with you. I think the only thing they could possibly do is try to match the latency, which we'll see, and then the library, which I really feel like I don't know how they're handling like getting games on this service. So maybe it's really easy, or maybe it's not. I don't know, but I think Sony's really. I think they're gonna just. I don't think they're gonna have an answer for this anytime soon.
Well, I don't. I think Sony's the only one that can survive this because they have their own game plan, which is amazing titles. That
they could just can't get that.
Yeah, and I think that's really going to allow them to make a lot of money. Because I'm more excited about the PS5 than the Xbox Series X. Just because I know I can play most of the games on xCloud, so I'm not really that concerned about it. And there aren't going to be that many great games out until after Christmas anyways. So the games that I want to play are PlayStation games.
Yeah, I agree.
As of now, and it's just a different feel. Like I always put like Xbox Series X or Xbox in general is the console I most likely will be playing a game online with my friends. PlayStation's where you get the best single player experiences.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Microsoft is trying to change that narrative, and we'll see when it does. But so far, yeah, that's still how it is.
Yeah, that's a great thing, though. I mean, I think it's better to be in the camp that all your friends are playing in, because that kind of forces you to get the console. But we'll see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't really know. I mean, it's interesting that it's out right now, right?
It's in early access, and you can request to get into early access. I don't know how hard it is. So I don't know if tons of people are using it yet or not, but let's see if there's any indication. The price isn't terrible. It's $6 a month. 4K 60. I can't remember how much Stadia was, but Xbox technically that is $15 a month because you have to get it through Game Pass Ultimate.
Okay. And then the interesting thing is, and I'm actually might start playing Destiny 2. There's a lot of Destiny news on right now.
Destiny's having I think they're having a really big moment. It's a really great time in the community, I feel.
Well, I feel it's because they're now on streaming services that they feel like they can get a lot of people involved, because it's nothing more than me just pressing play, And so I'm actually thinking about it. I haven't played it in a long time, but it's there's so much Destiny news. It's ridiculous.
Well, it's kind of, I don't know how great the new player experience is right now, but I can tell you right now, if it's something that you want to get into, it definitely has enough content to keep you busy for a very long time, especially as a Game Pass subscriber. Like, you instantly just have access to 3 years of stuff just sitting there waiting for you to play. And then on November 10th, when the console launches and their new expansion launches, that's a 4th year of Destiny content that you've just signed up for. Yeah, it's a lot.
My only problem is then who do I play with? Because everyone else is like going to be level whatever, and then I'm just going to be coming in.
Well, they have done a great on that one. So for player, it's really easy to jump in with your friends who are higher level now. They have a lot of less activities that are locked. So we if you played, I would definitely be able to just play with you throughout most of it.
That's kind of the message that I think they need to get across to players, because honestly, that stuck in my head. I thought that I'm great, everyone's been playing this, they're probably high level, I'm going to go into the Crucible and I'm going to suck, and I won't be able to play in the Crucible with my friends, and it's great.
Yeah, yes, I need to look into it, but I know that that's been a huge problem, and that they've addressed that almost every time they've had a stream in the past year and a half. They're we're trying to make it easier to jump in with your friends. And the nice thing, with the Crucible, it's not light level enabled, so no matter what level you are, you do the same damage as anybody else.
Okay.
So there is Crucible where light level does matter, but the base one is not that way. And that you can level up quickly through that. So yeah, no, it's definitely great to jump into. I don't know if I would jump into it right before this expansion or right as it happens. Either one I think works, but
well as you said, yeah, cool. I mean, there's a lot to play right now. I'm still trying to get through Crackdown, so
yeah, I think I haven't been playing games recently. Been busy.
I try to play a little bit each day just to see if I can advance. I'm actually really enjoying that game. That game's really good.
Yeah, I think I'm like 80% done with it. I don't know why I stopped playing it, but I couldn't stop playing it when I was when it first launched, which I think it was like last year around this time. I can't remember.
Yeah.
It's really great. Like it doesn't, and I mean it just gets better and better because your abilities get better and better.
Yeah. Do they so like when you finish the game, do you still have a lot of room to advance?
Like, yeah, see that I don't know. I don't think I've done like the final mission. I think I'm on the final mission, and I didn't know if the game ends there or if I can roam afterwards. I should just do that and look it up.
Yeah.
Because I want to keep free roaming, but I kind of like having that last objective in the back of my head while I do that.
Yeah. I guess another piece of news is the Left 4 Dead thing.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And I didn't even know this until today. And I guess it started. When did it start? Over the weekend, right? It was like Friday. For the expansion. I guess people have been playing it all weekend.
Yeah, I don't know how big the expansion is.
It's 26 new maps.
It's 26?
26 for free.
Yeah, I know it's free. That was just amazing, but really 20.
That's what it says with 26 new maps.
20 new survival arenas, 4 scavenge arenas, and a campaign-based The Lighthouse survival map. That's huge.
Yeah, that's really cool too because they don't need to do this. I
wonder, they really don't.
Like maybe they just were slowly doing this over time, or like.
I mean, yeah, they talked a lot about because with they released the final hours of Half-Life Alyx, which is an interactive storybook about the past decade at Valve and what the hell's been going on, and they've been working on Left 4 Dead projects on and off for the entire 10 years. So it looks like they finally found a clean way to wrap up everything that they worked on, or maybe not everything. Enough of what they've worked on to just update this. And the other thing is they put Left 4 Dead as 80% off.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you'd have to.
Wow. But I mean, this is what happens when you have a shitload of money lying around from Steam. That's like an infinite source of cash.
Yeah. Well, I mean, this definitely screams Left 4 Dead 3 failure, doesn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they had multiple Left 4 Dead failures over the last decade.
Did they?
So, yeah.
Okay.
It's a great. You should definitely look into the final hours of Half-Life. I mean, it's a lot of reading. If you don't like doing that, don't do that. But it was really cool to see what has been going on in that company for 10 silent years.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll check that out. It's in Half-Life Alyx though, within the game.
No, it's like a separate book. It's called The Final Hours of Half-Life.
It came out at the same time, is what you're saying.
Yeah, I think so.
It's not actually tied to that game.
No.
Okay. Yeah, I didn't play too. I mean, I played enough when it came out, but it's been a while since I played Half-Life or Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah, I played it. I can't remember why, but I booted it up a couple months ago, and I think it's aged pretty well. I mean, I think Source Engine games just age well, in my opinion. I think they just look good. Even though they are definitely dated graphics, I think that they've always just... Even the Half-Life 1, the base Half-Life 1, still is a decent-looking game for what it was.
Yeah. And I think it's just because it runs so smoothly.
Yeah.
You know? And so it's like you're just happy to play it because of the mechanics are always so clean. I mean, yeah, Source is good.
I'm wondering if they're gonna port Left 4 Dead 2 into Source 2, or I mean, I don't know. Now I'm curious what they're gonna do with the franchise.
Well, I would imagine this is putting it to rest, right? I mean, if they had failed projects, then they just we have all this content that we worked on, and what are we gonna do with it? And so they probably had to somehow figure out how to put it into Half-Life 2, so that it just didn't go to waste. I mean, that's what it looks like. I don't know. I'd have to reading.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely could be. I could see it going both ways. This is the end, but also see how many people start playing Left 4 Dead 2 again, just to kind of. I mean, everyone will always be saying, where's Left 4 Dead 3? But this is like a great way of asking the community who really wants a new Left 4 Dead game. Because if everybody starts re-downloading it and playing it and it just sells like crazy again for the people who don't already have it, it's hard to argue that, the want is not there.
Yeah. Well, I think that there is a lot. I mean, basically, I think people just want Valve to have movement because they were such an amazing game company. And then they kind of abandoned that, just like you said. It's probably talked about within that documentary, or, but what would you call it? You call it a postmortem. Yeah, postmortem. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, because I think anybody would be happy with anything coming from Valve.
Yeah, I mean, they showed that after all this time, they come out with a game, and it's
fantastic. They do things, but. Yeah. So, I mean, and there's just a lot of these lost franchises that people want so bad. Okay, I don't know what else. I guess I don't know, something about Doom Eternal. I'm literally going through Game Informer's thing right now.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't what the hell happened. It wasn't a crazy week. This morning, a lot of people got early boxes for the Series X. So lots of people in like the news and big like. I don't know what influencers, that's the word I'm looking for, got a Series X and are playing with it. And yeah, the load times are looking pretty amazing, which, I mean, that is like the big thing that they're trying to push with these new consoles.
Equivalent to PlayStation 5 is what you're saying, so that there's not.
Well, yeah, see, I don't think anybody has a PlayStation 5 right now that can just like boot it up and play games like people can with Xbox right now. So people got the game and they're just putting games through it to see the difference, and it's pretty amazing. So we've got, this is a small list from The Verge. So Call of Duty loads on, it used to load for 21 seconds, now it's 16. That's a little better, I guess. Some games are better, sometimes aren't, which that totally makes sense depending on how the game's made. Red Dead 2 goes from 1.5 minutes load times to just a minute. It's still a long load.
Yeah.
The Outer Worlds, which you just started playing, went from 27 seconds to 6 seconds, which is phenomenal. It looks like, I think Borderlands 2 also went from like a 2-minute load to like a 30-second load, which it makes me wonder if the Unreal Engine is really getting used well on the Series X. I don't know why and how the Unreal Engine loads compared to other engines, but so far every time an Unreal Engine comes up, it just drastically loads faster.
Yeah, Borderlands 2, though, that's old.
Sorry, Borderlands 3. Did I say 2?
Oh, okay, yeah. I was like, yeah, I hope that loads faster.
Yeah. Wow, No Man's Sky went from 2.5 minutes to 1.5 minutes. That's a long load time.
Yeah, which is sad because that's their whole thing is being able to transfer into immersive zones at quick rates, Yeah. But they do pop-in loading. When do they do? Oh, I guess when you're traveling. No. Because it's pop-in loading. So isn't that the whole thing?
I think these are the initial load times.
Oh,
so like when you get to the menu and you say play, how long does it take until I'm playing?
Yeah.
Which 6 seconds for Outer Worlds. That's awesome, honestly.
Yeah.
Where's Destiny? Because Destiny has awful load times. Wow, they went from 2 minutes to 40 seconds.
Wow, awesome.
Wow, that's really nice.
Well, I mean, like with this, with like super fast load times, and then also just the amount of processes that can run simultaneously at the same time. Like you can basically suspend these games and go in between them, and like there's literally no time to jump in. And I don't know, the whole thing's just gonna feel. I mean, this is where the console actually starts to make sense. That's the one thing I've actually noticed, and I've noticed on all game streaming services. And I used to hate this about PlayStation. I actually used to download the games because of it. Because you have to basically secure server space in order to have your game running, they have to stay efficient. So if you stop using it for even a little bit of time, they temporarily freeze your process, and you have to reconnect into it.
Yeah.
Which it's great that the service happens, but sometimes like if you just want a game running and you're kind of doing work and you just want to like have little breaks, like you're doing Pomodoro or something. Good technique.
Gaming. Oh my god.
You should do. Everyone out there should check that out because Pomodoro is good stuff. But yeah, if you want to like do Pomodoro and during your 15-minute break or whatever, you want to jump back into your game. Well, now you got to wait for it to connect to the server. You got to wait, like there's.
Yeah, and that's a good point.
We're going to see this because we're going to get these consoles that there literally is zero waiting. And it's going to be the only selling point towards console versus server until they're. And I don't know. I mean, maybe you can't overcome that, but I think that's what they'll have to overcome in the.
Yeah, like I don't think anytime soon we can overcome that. I mean, there's always going to be a limited server space, and it makes sense to kick people off. You don't want people just idling on your thing. That's really bad. So. Yeah, I'm down, especially with the Series X has the quick resume, which allows you to have multiple games running in the background and just switch between them, which is phenomenal.
That is cool.
Yeah, apparently, the game has to support it. Let's see what people are saying about it. Never really worked properly, or games didn't support it. Well, that's sad, but it hasn't released yet, so that's fair. So it says it takes around 5 seconds to resume games where you left off, and I was able to switch between 5 games easily. So you're being able to load a game that you left off with in 5 seconds between 5 different games. That is amazing.
That is amazing.
Like, what I'm really curious about is how much are they like keeping this game running? Because like with Destiny, I need to be connected to the server to play, and if I'm idling, they're gonna kick me out because it's an always online game, just like it would as like a streaming game. So what I'm wondering is, can this thing go fast enough to where I can resume like Ori while I'm waiting for Destiny to load, or like while my friends are getting like their tower stuff secured and getting their gear? Because that would be like the coolest feature ever, to play multiple games at once.
Yeah.
And oh my god.
I think you'll have more capabilities definitely on the console than other devices. Because like right now with at least for the server, if you're doing stuff that's on the server, then it doesn't like you. Like even if I go change my Bluetooth device, it kicks me off, which is really annoying. But it's temporarily. Like it's funny because if I do a small, like it almost seems like it's equal time. So like if I do something that takes a couple of seconds, it'll kick me off, but it'll keep me like almost close enough where I can connect quickly. Like maybe it keeps part of the server going, or I don't know, or has a easy path back to the game, so it doesn't have to find it. Keeps it at the top of the list. Who knows? That's probably what it is. It's probably on the top of the list. It's most recently used thing is the easiest to find. But but anyways, I mean, like if you wait a little bit longer, it takes a significant amount of time to get back to your game.
Yeah.
So I mean, like if you can have other options that you could play at the same time, and they consider loading into your game, while you're in another game, then that would be great.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it just comes down to how the devs are gonna support it and how easy. Because I mean, like right now you can suspend one game and one app at a time on the Xbox. So with Destiny, you can technically go back to Hulu or Netflix, and then the game can be running, and then after like 5 minutes, it'll kick you out for idle. But I'm wondering if they took that exact same, the suspend feature on Xbox One, and just said, let it do 5, or if they just built a whole new ecosystem or whatever, a new way of doing suspension, which would mean that developers have to re-enable it. I don't know.
I see what you're saying. Yeah. So you're saying like if you go between them, can you have like, could you possibly juggle like 5 suspended applications?
Yeah, which I mean the way they're talking about it, it seems like it, but again, I don't know. One, I don't know how the hell that would fucking work. On the technical side, like where are you storing these processes and everything, and how is the console like using full, like if I have 5 games running, is my console like getting bottlenecked on performance? I don't understand it, but it seems pretty magical.
Yeah, I'm sure some parallel. Obviously it's different threads.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's funny because a lot of the technologies that we've been akin to for so long are just entering into these consoles. So it's like I think we're going to see a lot of really neat stuff that we may have possibly been able to do on other devices for quite a while, just because of the long leaps in these console development stages.
Yeah.
And also, it seems like the last consoles didn't, as we've talked about before, didn't really get the best stuff, or weren't trying to engage the future as much as these consoles are. Like, these consoles seem to be like on the cutting edge of what's happening right now. I feel like the last consoles didn't really do that as much.
No, and maybe that's why the hype just feels a lot more significant now. Because, yeah, when the One and the PS4 launched, it was like... I mean, everyone was arguing over the specs of which one was more powerful, but it was also, yeah, it just felt underpowered, and it just was like, okay, like it's just a new piece of box to play things on, and it didn't seem like, yeah, it didn't seem like an advancement in technology. It was just like, okay, games are barely running on the Xbox 360. We need something new for developers so that the game can run at more than 10 frames.
Yeah, and I think it was, what was the game that came out when the new, oh my gosh.
Oh, which console?
Well, I think it was the Xbox S or the One S, or one of the mid consoles. I think it was shoot. What's the one where you go back in history?
Where you go back in history, or like a game where you go back in history.
Yeah. Where you play historical events.
Oh, Assassin's Creed.
Thank you. Sorry. Sometimes I just cannot like get to the name of the game I want.
Yeah,
I'm sitting there. I'm like, I know what the fucking game is. But yeah. Anyways, yeah. So I think it was Assassin's Creed Odyssey, or what was the one you played with multiple players? Or no, it came out at the same time and it couldn't run. The old Xboxes couldn't run it.
Was Unity?
It? I think it was Unity.
Maybe Unity. I don't think that was on the 360. Yeah.
Because it was while we were still in school, and it definitely was a struggle on other consoles, and then it showed the age of them. But I mean, like the original consoles, it doesn't even have an SSD. It's just like a hard drive, right? I'm pretty sure.
What do you mean the original console?
The original Xbox One.
Oh, none of the Xboxes have an SSD.
Not even the Series S?
No.
Oh, really?
No.
I thought the Series S would.
Oh, well, the Series S, like the next gen.
Series, whatever. Xbox.
Yeah. Okay, just making sure we're on the same.
S.
Yes.
Oh, no, sorry. Xbox. Oh my God, I hate this naming convention. Xbox One S.
Every Xbox One has a hard drive. I think that there's a hybrid somewhere. I think one of the consoles might have a hybrid. It could be the One X, but it's still not a true SSD. Like not even just like not even M.2. It is not even like a normal SSD.
Yeah, which is like incredible because those have been around for forever, right? Like I can't even remember when M.2s came out. I mean, I guess it was like 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean SSDs, I guess, are just now becoming like affordable compared to hard drive. I mean, hard drives are still like absolutely dirt, but like especially, I mean, it's kind of crazy that when the One X launched, it was a $500 console, and we're now 2 years later or 3 years later, we're getting the Series X, and that's a $500 console too. But it is like unbelievably beyond technical boundaries for the same price. Like that's an insane jump in SSD technology and pricing in 3 years.
Yeah. It's really cool. So I'm really excited to see, and I honestly think this will push back the mid consoles for quite a bit of time, because just the fact that they didn't, try to get the best possible tech into the Xbox One allowed for mid consoles to happen a little earlier. So like it changes the probably the stage of when those need to be. But although technology, I mean, I guess games are being developed. There's more games being developed. Technology is increasing in speed. So who the hell knows? Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, see, I'm wondering if we're even gonna get a mid-gen this time, because this one,
because of the streaming stuff.
Not even that, but like the only reason we had a mid-generation update was because of 4K resolution. That is it. Like they didn't update the CPU. It was like the One X is it's just a bigger GPU just to hit 4K, and same with the PlayStation 4 Pro. Although that doesn't really hit 4K, that upscales 4K. So, and it's because when the consoles launched, 4K was like kind of relevant. It was still like, ooh, 4K, that's luxury. And now 4K is kind of the new 1080. It's like, well, why don't you have a 4K TV? But everyone has a 4K. I don't think we're gonna see that type of technical leap that's gonna take, like, the consoles aren't just gonna sit there and be like, we just can't hit it, we need an upgrade, even on the GPU side. Like, these things are gonna be able to do ray tracing with the current technology as well as 4K or 120, and it has new SSD. Like, what, I don't see what they would do as a mid-gen upgrade other than like a slim model, but that's not an upgrade.
But PSVR is going to require, and those are going to become right now, 2 4K TVs now in your eyes, or whatever you need to make the screen door effect go away. As those advancements continue, and I don't know if they'll do a re-release of the VR, at least for the PSVR that they've already announced. Is Xbox have a VR?
No, and you're bringing up a good point. Like, that was actually, I totally forgot about that with the PS4 Pro, that technically that console was not meant to be the 4K machine. It was like part of it, but that was the PlayStation VR machine. Like, the base model could do it, but like it was very recommended that you had the Pro. I would hope that when they designed the PS5, they had the PlayStation VR 2, or just whatever they're going to call it, in mind. And I hope that console is like ready for a VR platform. And I know that Xbox has no interests in the VR space, which I'm fine with.
There's another element that I don't think that they is just coming out, which is Wi-Fi 6E, which is I think it's 30 hertz protocol. So it allows for short range transfer, but it's a ridiculous amount of data. Yeah. I think it's like 30 gigs or something. And so basically what this allows is the only console or VR headset that hasn't been able to go wireless is the Vive, because of the amount of data that it requires to get transferred. There's not a Wi-Fi protocol good enough to be able to transfer that much data until now. And so it's a very interesting concept, because now this on the cutting edge protocol is going to be released that specifically is for VR. I mean, it doesn't say that, but that's what it is, because it literally cannot go through walls. It's really short range. And it's a different band, so like it's a different frequency, but
yeah, nothing's really going to be running on that frequency, so you won't have interference in your house.
And the only thing that needs it is VR, and like literally they're creating this so that VR so you can get enough content to these high resolution displays that need God knows how much data transferred to them. And so this is there's an example for a mid console, or like that has that protocol, and then they would have to obviously update the headset. I don't know how that all works.
Yeah, but I mean, I think that would only be for PlayStation. Xbox.
Yeah, it would only be for PlayStation.
Yeah, which.
Or maybe Xbox gets into it late. Who knows? I mean,
I hope they don't. I just feel like Microsoft's doing a lot right now, and they need to just focus on normal gaming. Because, we still are saying that the PlayStation 5 has better single-player experiences. So, Xbox has work. Just don't spread themselves out. I think that they're okay with letting PC just own the VR game.
As it should.
So, yeah, I honestly don't think that the PlayStation VR, I get it. It's easy to get into, and I know that the index is so expensive, but when you play the other VR headsets and then you go use an index on a machine that's meant to play it, it's just, way better.
Yeah.
Nothing. And yeah, if you're saying that this Wi-Fi protocol is going to do that, if the only update to the next index is just completely wireless, that's going to be the coolest shit ever. Oh my God, I'll buy that in a fucking heartbeat.
No, I agree. Well, I don't even think it'll just be an attachment. I don't think there's any reason for them to change it. They literally need to put some sort of attachment on it, and then that's what you go with. I mean, that's what it was before anyways, with the last Vive and other consoles that go wireless. The what is it? The S for Facebook. Damn it.
Oculus?
Not the Quest. Yeah, Oculus S. Is it the Oculus S? I know. I just have Quest in my head, and I know it's not the Quest.
I thought the Quest was. Oh, that. Yeah, I don't know.
The Quest is a standalone. And yeah, so I think it's the S.
Sure.
I think it's the Oculus S. Whatever. Anyways, the Oculus S, you're able to make that wireless because it doesn't require as much data. And it's just an attachment you buy. I mean, there's a bunch of companies that
I'm trying to think. So if it was an attachment for the current index, how would it work? Because, the cable is completely tethered to the headset. You can't take it out.
Well, you attach it to it.
To the end of the cable?
Well, it's not for the current index. It's for the Vive. So the Vive had an attachment.
Oh, you're talking Vive. Gotcha.
It came out after the Vive launched. So it was an extra
Vive already has
add-on.
A wireless version.
Yeah, but it didn't. Is what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying.
It launched with the cables in the same way that the Index did, and then they came with a wireless attachment, and then they came up with all the other ones that were the wireless versions.
Okay.
With all the weird names that I can't remember. But yeah, so I mean it. I just so they'll probably just make an attachment. I don't even care, like with the cables and everything. I mean, they do break down partially, but if you could just attach it, you can do cable management on the back of your head.
Yeah, it might, with the Index. I mean, that cable can be. It's a heavy cable, and it's supposed to be so that it tries to lay down as much as possible. So, I guess you could wrap it around your head. Someone's got on Reddit gonna build a cool little helmet.
Yeah.
To tie it on.
I've seen people I think it was Linus actually, Tech Tips, that it was doing it. He had a big boom stand thing, and he did it over.
Yeah, I really want to do that. I really want to feed in a leeway system to my ceiling for the Index.
Yeah,
it's a matter of time. It's gonna happen. It's awesome. Or just wait until the wireless one comes out, because that's totally down.
Yeah, I mean the protocol just is getting released now. I mean it's not even there might actually be some routers that have it are able to transmit on it, but it's going to be a little while.
Yeah, last year was Wi-Fi 6 certified.
No, but it's Wi-Fi 6E.
Oh, 6E? Well, what's the difference
between 6 and 6E? It's the newest protocol.
Wireless 6 versus wireless 6E. Let's do this. 6E is the 6 gigahertz. So yeah, Wi-Fi 6 is just going over 6 gigahertz. So what's the E do?
The E is the 30. Oh, god damn! I read this a long time ago.
The 6. Okay, what? Come on, just something basic. This article is so long. I need a quick answer. Oh wait, 6E is Wi-Fi 6 over 6 gigahertz. Oh, okay.
Yes.
So Wi-Fi 6 is not over 6 gigahertz, but Wi-Fi 6E is. Okay, that's an unfortunate naming convention, but that's fine.
Yeah, so 6 gigahertz. That's
so Wi-Fi 6 is 82.11ax rather than AC, which is Wi-Fi. Okay, now I get it. The Wi-Fi talk is now. That makes sense. Well, okay, that's really interesting. 2021 apparently is when it might start, but mostly 2022. So.
Yeah, well, it's in some routers right now, so they actually do support this protocol. But again, nothing gets it. So your phone doesn't accept it, or it really doesn't matter.
Hopefully the tech is in a good enough phase where companies like Valve can be give us some tech so that we can make some new. I guess they'd have to make new lighthouses.
Would that think it's necessarily the lighthouse?
The lighthouses go to the headset. So yeah, I guess it would just be a little box that they'd make that you plug into a USB port. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Although, what about the power cable though?
Well,
I guess they would just have to make
you just on headset. Yeah, you'd have to have a battery. I think that's what the other ones do. They have an on head battery or something that you have that doesn't. You just have to charge it.
Yeah. Well, I'm excited. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah, I know. It's good stuff. I'm not saying how fast it is, but I thought I saw 30 gigs or something like that.
That's a lot of gigs.
I know I saw the number 30. I just don't know. It definitely gigs is the only thing that makes sense.
Yeah, I can't find anything.
Here. Oh, your bubble's in the way.
My bubble. Oh, my Skype bubble.
Yeah, damn it.
How fast is Wi-Fi 6? Oh, it's 9 gigabytes.
Okay, so maybe 30 was out there.
30's that's like Wi-Fi 14 or something.
I thought it seemed a little bit big, but I was like, well,
Well, yeah, so, okay, so 9. Do you think that's still enough for VR?
9 gigs a second? Yeah, I do.
Okay, yeah, that's
a lot of data.
How much is Wi-Fi 5? Wi-Fi 5 speed. Oh my God. 600 megs? Yeah, you're right. That's a huge leap in tech.
Well, yeah, I mean, and we've had. I don't know how old your phone is. I actually just got a new router to have Wi-Fi 6, and that's already really fast. I mean, this is a specialized with the E. It's a specialized band.
Yeah.
For frequency that they're going to be able to send over more data on. But yeah, it's good. I think that's why I like Stadia for me, or Jesus, xCloud, whatever.
That could be why it's so great.
Yeah, why it's going really good for me. I have really good moments. There are definitely times where it sucks, but I like that they sacrifice. Like, you can still play the game, you just can't see.
So have you tried the in-home streaming version yet, where you turn your Xbox on and you stream from your own Xbox at home?
I have not.
Okay, that was released on iOS this week, along with everybody else. So you're halfway there on the Apple ecosystem, Microsoft. You're almost there, but it's totally not the cool part of it. But I haven't tried it, but I'm going to be trying it probably tonight or tomorrow, because I mean that's. I don't find myself needing to game on the go that much, but it's also COVID, so I don't go that much. So maybe when it's not and I can actually go places, I'll want to game more. But the in-home one sounds very exciting, to be able to just like sit anywhere I want and play. I wonder how good it is on handoff is my big question.
I mean, here's the thing. Where it becomes amazing is, like, it's basically what Nintendo's been doing and for so long, which allows you to play these, because you go to conventions, and you always see all those people in the corner playing the same game, and it's always some sort of handheld Nintendo device, and they're all connected together, and they're like, that's literally what this does. It just makes it so easy because everyone has a phone. So now you can get these little communities together where you're outside at the park, and we talked about this, but that's what I'm excited about. And yeah, it kind of sucks right now because it's COVID and like people aren't really doing that things, but I think when it all goes away and we resume our normal lives, I think there's great opportunities for fun.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, I've even taken it to people's houses and showed them, and they've like started playing, and like gotten lost in the game that they're playing. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm hoping that, I think a big part of it is just ease of access. Like, I think more people will play games because it is just press a button and go. You don't have to be like, okay, make sure the TV's on the right. I mean, consoles already are so much easier than a PC, but I mean, for a lot of people, the idea of booting up the console and making sure the TV's on the right input and finding your game, like, that's like daunting. So,
well, I just don't know how high school students are going to pay attention anymore.
Yeah, it's good. Rip them. Yeah, you're right. I mean, mobile games have been an issue for that. Yeah, but yeah, no, that's a good point.
I mean, it used to be calculator games, man.
Oh, I know, dude. I remember playing like little games on my TI-83 calculator, and like it was like a ball falling game.
Oh yeah, you had to play Drug Wars. Drug Wars was the best. You had to take over all the contraband traffic. Yeah, that was great.
But now Fortnite, and literally, and now any game you want. I can be like raiding in Destiny mid-class.
Yeah, which I honestly, I don't see how they stop it. That's basically what's going to happen.
Actually, I mean, with like school network, I guess if you go on cellular, then yeah, they have no control over what like websites and trafficking that they can block. So,
I mean, that's like, it's just so freaking different. Like, if you were at the lunch table, you could be like, bring your controller at the lunch table, and everyone at the lunch table could be in a Destiny raid. Like, that's insane, man.
I mean, I think the only way that the schools can combat this is to like literally give into it and just like give people time, like let people play these things at lunch, and then since they can play them at lunch, they'll have a little bit less of a reason to do it during class. But also, kids are always going to do shit during class. They don't want to pay attention. You're never going to get over that.
Well, yeah, I mean, you're definitely going to have a no phone thing, which actually exists in most classes nowadays.
Yeah.
But after, you could easily start all these game clubs after school because everyone could just bring their cell phone.
Yeah, no, like any game is it is great. And I'm sure that like Microsoft could make some sort of like enterprise version of Game Pass where you can buy it for like a whole school or company and sign it with your school account.
One IP, yeah.
Yeah, holy shit.
Yeah.
Well, that's a good place to end.
Yeah, we made it. I was scared there wasn't a lot of news, so it was
a rough week.
Yeah, we made it. But hopefully things will happen because Christmas is approaching and all you idiots
87 days away
fighting for consoles. Yeah.
But hey, you can't Black Friday fight because of COVID, most likely, so we'll see how Black Friday's nerfed.
Yeah, good. We don't need these things. We don't need this stress in our lives.
All right.